Hi all, my name is Davis and welcome back to my channel where we talk about all things tech. And today we are going to be taking a look at almost every single pair of AirPods ever made, and we'll work out which pair I like most. So firstly, we've got, I can't tell them apart, we've got the original AirPods 1. No, these are the AirPods 2. We've got the original AirPods 1. We've got the AirPods 2. We've got the AirPods 3. We've got the AirPods Pro 1. And we've also got the AirPods Pro 2. And finally, we've got the very latest AirPods 4 with noise cancelling. So let's see which ones I like the most. And in addition to that, let's also see if the new AirPods 4 are worth upgrading to if you've got any of the older models. And this video is brought to you by... Do you want the feel of a naked phone but want the peace of mind of using protection? Me too, and the Arc Pulse case has been my perfect solution to that over the past year. And now it's out for the iPhone 16 line. This was by far my favorite phone case that I use on my 15 because not only does it simply not age because it is made of aluminium, so it should last you the entire life of the phone, but it is a case that actually makes your phone more beautiful rather than uglier. For the 16, I've decided to go with the rose bronze color that goes perfectly with the desert titanium phone, but here is how the silver version looks as well. As you can see, the case is absolutely stunning. Okay, I hear what you're saying. You're concerned about drop protection because the phone is so exposed, but unless you are really clumsy and run over your phone with your car all the time, there is no need to be concerned because I'm the sort of person who likes to drop their phone about 20 times a day and my old iPhone still looks fine. The aluminium and rubber backing absorbs impacts amazingly so, and the main drop zones, including the corners and the camera bump, are all completely covered. And the best thing, it allows your phone to lie flat on a table. If you check the Arc Pulse case out using my link, you can save 10% off your case, and you can finally enjoy a case that makes your phone better instead of worse. So it's hard to believe that AirPods have been around for basically 8 years now. They were first announced in September 2016 alongside the iPhone 7 event, and that was the event where we were to lose the headphone jack forever. And for a few months after the phone came out, it felt like that this was a product that would actually never come out because we had to wait until December to get them. And the sense that they were simply vaporware wasn't helped out by the fact that the AirPods truly felt quite futuristic at the time, as truly wireless earphones were not really a thing back then. It was quite a nascent market. Until the AirPods were released, most wireless earbuds looked like these Bose SoundSport wireless buds that I was using at the time. Not only were they connected together by a cable, but they were big, bulky, and the case for them literally looked like a Tupperware container. So talk about not being pocketable at all. The only truly wireless earbuds that you could buy at the time were the braggy Dash earbuds, which were awful, buggy, and disconnected all the time, and also the Samsung Gear Icon X, which had a battery life of just 90 minutes. So you can see why this was a class of device that really needed Apple's help. Apple just had a knack of finding these niche nascent categories and putting the R&D into them to make them resonate with the general population. MP3 players were not just something that people wanted prior to the iPod, same with the smartphone, and so was the space of truly wireless earphones. And the reason why the AirPods were so much more wildly popular than the Samsung or braggy Dash, mainly I believe, is that these were actually good. So let's take a look at these AirPods 1 now. So it's been 8 years since these were launched, and to be honest, I think that the design is still bang up to date and better than most Bluetooth earphones that you find on the market. One of the reasons why this was so much better than the competition at the time especially was because of the W1 chip that was inside. Prior to the AirPods, pairing Bluetooth earphones was actually a little bit of a chore. You had to put the earphones into pairing mode, you had to do the same on your phone or laptop, and if you wanted to pair it to another device, it was super complicated as well. The W1 chip not only made connecting to Apple devices super easy, all you had to do to pair it was simply just open the lid up. I mean, how inspired is that? You just lift the lid up and it would appear on your MacBook or iPad or iPhone, and it basically worked like magic. And it would switch automatically between your devices too. So you could be watching a video on your iPhone, but then if you decided to watch something on your Mac, it would switch by itself. It felt so magical at the time, and let's also not forget that it didn't quite have the same latency, syncing issues, and general unreliability as its competitors. Plus, each earbud was also not reliant upon the other, so you could just wear one at a time if you really wanted to. Another feature that felt magical at the time was the ability to take just the one AirPod out and have the music pause automatically. It seems normal today, but at the time it felt like magic. It really was brilliant. So essentially, the AirPods 1 was a revelation and deserved every piece of success that it did. Battery life at 4 hours or 24 hours with the charging case was pretty good as well, far longer than the competitors and long enough to actually use, unlike the Samsung, which had to be recharged halfway through watching a movie. And while it did cost $159, which was a lot for a pair of earphones at the time, people saw value in that. And also, let's just talk about the design again. If we take a look at the case, it's just so cute and pocketable. It looks like a Tic Tac box or something. And the way that the AirPods would just magnetically sort of fall into place was like magic. It really is just a brilliant piece of design. Unfortunately though, the batteries are not replaceable on any AirPods. So these are basically dead, like probably every single pair of AirPods 1 there is. Another controversial thing about these particular AirPods is the open design. And while it did fit my ears very well, it doesn't fit everyone's ears. So a lot of people did complain about these falling out. And also something else that didn't age very well were the tap controls. So you played and paused by just tapping on the stem, and I think it's an accelerometer or something that notices when you do that, and it wasn't very responsive. Sound quality also wasn't very good. While they were better than a pair of wired AirPods, that really wasn't a high bar. The open design didn't really help things either, as it did nothing to keep the external sound out or the sound that you wanted in. But it was good enough for the mass market. If you've still got these, I think you should probably upgrade, as I don't think that you'd get more than 5 minutes of battery life from it, if it still works. So now let's take a look at its replacement, the AirPods 2. And this is when the AirPods went mainstream, in my opinion. So this launched 2 and a bit years later in March 2019, and it basically looks identical. So we still had a lovely tiny case and quite possibly the most comfortable earbud design I have ever worn. But they finally added the H1 processor, which improved performance even further. So now there was barely any lag when watching videos, and I actually remember people video edited with these with no concerns whatsoever. It also added Bluetooth 5, which improved sound quality and also further helped with battery life. And it also got features like Hey Siri and more. The biggest change, however, was the addition of a wireless charging case like this one. They cost an additional $40. For wireless charging fans like me, that was a must buy. But surely, wireless charging could have been included for free. Because apart from that, these were not really a noticeable upgrade over the original, especially how sound quality was largely the same. It was loud and relatively bassy, but there weren't many plus points beyond that. And while I do love the AirPods 2, I still think that they're very iconic. If you are still using these, I do suspect that the batteries are also close to the end of their useful life. So it might be time to upgrade too. And now we come to the Gen 1 AirPods Pro. And wow, what a revelation these were. These were a proper replacement to the old Apple in-ear earphones that were a bit of a cult favorite. So these came out about 6 months after the AirPods 2. And these really took the AirPods to the next level. So while these were quite expensive at $249 US, the list of features that they added were quite extensive. So these added noise cancellation for the very first time, which was actually very impressive. It also had a really good transparency mode, which helped with the new silt design. As you know, less sound could come in naturally. The case was also a lot shorter and stubbier than the old one. It's sort of more of a horizontal shape now. and that also reflected the shape of the earbuds themselves. We've got a lot bigger a head, and the stem has shrunk tremendously. So what I especially enjoyed were the controls, which were completely redesigned. Instead of just tapping loosely on the stems, which never seemed to work, now you could squeeze the stems, which was a far better solution. The battery life was also good at 5 hours or 4 and a bit with noise cancelling on, and they even added MagSafe halfway through the life cycle of this, although this particular unit doesn't have it. So one of the great things with this particular unit of AirPods is that they were updated for quite a long while. So it got some of the later features, including spatial audio, which is the feature that people would love to hate, but I actually think it's quite good. So if you're still holding on to these and the battery hasn't degraded yet, I'd say hold on to these, because I imagine that the battery probably isn't going to hold on for much longer. I think this is going to become a trend, just keeping onto your AirPods until the battery dies. But this was one of the most iconic pair of AirPods of all time. Unfortunately though, the AirPods 3 probably aren't. So the AirPods 3 were a little bit of a controversial upgrade over the AirPods 2. So the case design was a lot closer to the AirPods Pro. As we can see, it's a little bit stubbier as opposed to the vertical design of the original ones. And that's also reflected in the earbud design. As we can see, the stem is a lot shorter than the AirPods 2 and a lot more similar than the AirPods Pro in design. In fact, it's almost identical looking to the AirPods Pro, apart from the fact that it is still an open design. So these came out in October in 2021, so just a little while after the original AirPods Pro, and they cost $179 US, which was a little bit more than the AirPods 2 that they were still selling at the time. So the sound quality of the AirPods 3 was a massive improvement over the AirPods 2, and they created this through a number of ways, not all of which is, let's say, popular. So as we can see over here, the AirPods 3 have a lot larger a head than the AirPods 2/1. And through that, it means it's a little less comfortable. It doesn't sit as loosely in the ear. However, because it fills the ear canal a lot more, thereby making it a little bit less comfortable, it created a little bit of a quasi-seal that blocked some of the external noise out and kept more of the sound in. And that also plays into the new adaptive EQ that changed according to the user's ear and also accordingly to where it's situated inside the ear. Like the Pro ones as well, it got spatial audio, which is quite good. And another good change is that they changed the controls to match the AirPods Pro. So you've got this touch squeezy control instead of the accelerometer one that's based on movement. What's great with the 3 as well is that battery life was improved to 6 hours, which was 1 hour better than before and better than the Pro ones actually. And I think, despite a lot of people not liking the way that it fits in one's ears, I think that the AirPods 3 are still a very, very good earphone. And if you're still holding on to these, I'd say it's probably not worth upgrading unless if you really, really do want a noise cancellation or if they don't fit your ears well at all. And now we are up to my favorite pair of AirPods, the AirPods Pro Gen 2. Now these were launched all the way back in September 2022, so it's been 2 years since these came out. So these cost $249 US when they came out, which is the same as the original AirPods Pro. And quite funnily enough, these did get sort of a half-life refresh in September last year where they got USB-C, but as you can see, I've still got the original Lightning version. And improvements over the original AirPods Pro. Although they look very similar, you can tell the difference because it got a little bit of a speaker on the bottom, so you can hear when you've lost it through Find My. Apart from that, they did get a lanyard hole, which I'm sure 2 people use. And on the buds themselves, there's a little vent on the top that is supposed to help with sound quality. So the reason why the Pro 2, in my opinion, is so much better than the Pro 1 is the much better noise cancellation. This is obviously Apple's second attempt at it, and with the new H2 chip, it was roughly twice as good as the original. It actually started to compete against the competitors who had been doing noise cancellation for a long time. In addition to that, it also sounded a lot better. I think this was the first pair of AirPods that I actually put in my ears and was like, yes, I am satisfied with the sound quality. They were quite well balanced. They weren't the crispest, they didn't have the most fidelity, but this was the first AirPods that I used that sound quality was satisfactory. Something that is quite underappreciated as well is that they finally gave you a way to control the volume on AirPods themselves by just swiping on the little touch area over here. I did quite like that. Battery life was also massively improved, 6 hours of battery with noise cancelling versus 4.5 of the old one. And like with the AirPods Pro 1, the Pro 2 also got a lot of software updates, a lot of which are still rolling in. So with the H2 chip, we've got stuff like Siri interactions, like where you can nod or shake your head to say yes or no to Siri. We got spatial audio last year. Later on this year, you can even turn this into a hearing aid, and you can use it to protect your hearing as well. You've also got noise isolation for phone calls, which removes background noise and actually makes AirPods usable for phone calls. I'd say the AirPods Pro 2 are quite possibly still the best AirPods that Apple has ever made. And seeing that these are 2 years old, it's tremendous value. I've used these basically every day, and they are still going very strong. And I've got to say as well that these, in addition to the AirPods 3, are actually compatible both with MagSafe and also an Apple Watch charger. I don't think that there is a device that has more ways to charge than the AirPods Pro 2. You can use just normal Qi charging, you can use MagSafe charging, you can use Apple Watch charging, and either Lightning or USB-C, depending on which one you get. So that is quite a fun fact. And if you got these, you probably don't need to upgrade to AirPods 4, unless if you really do want an open design. And now we come to the new AirPods 4 with noise cancelling. Now these are pretty game changing because they've got an open ear design, and yet they also have active noise cancelling. And those are two things that don't generally go together, but somehow it works. And it's because a lot of compromises were made. But because of that, it's quite possibly the perfect all-rounder. So with the AirPods 4, they listen to a lot of the feedback about the comfort, or rather lack of comfort, that a lot of people faced with the AirPods 3. So the first thing that we can see that's most obvious is that the actual head is a little bit smaller, and because of that, it feels a little bit more open like the original AirPods designs. However, because of the smaller head and the fact that there's less space inside the AirPod itself, to retain the same level of sound quality, you might be able to see actually that the design digs into your ear a little bit more than before. So some people might actually find it less comfortable. And having the tip situated closer inside your ear canal also does help with the noise cancelling. So the sound quality, it does sound good. It's not amazing. It sounds very similar to the AirPods 3 actually. I think most people would be satisfied. It's definitely a massive step up from the AirPods 1 and 2, and it might actually sound better to some people than the Pro 1s. There's a lot of bass, there's a lot of highs, albeit they're quite shrill, and there's a little bit of a hollow sound. There's not much happening inside the mids, but I would say for general use, these do sound pretty good. The noise cancelling, on the other hand, probably isn't quite as good as what you might have experienced on the Pro 2s, but it does work quite well for cancelling out low rumbles, like what you'd hear on a plane, and it's less good for infrequent sort of higher noises like human voices. But it is quite good at just drowning out background noise from everyday sounds, and it can help protect your hearing in that way. A lot of people do think that open ear designs means that you won't necessarily feel the pressure from noise cancelling that a lot of people feel, but I'm afraid it is just an illusion and you still feel that with the AirPods 4. But even so, I would say that these are by far the most comfortable ANC earphones I have ever tried. And my overall conclusion with these is that they're just so accomplished for the $179 US price. Obviously, it's not as affordable as the version without noise cancelling. It's not as affordable as the older AirPods models, but it is a lot of earphone for the money. And of course, you still get the same H2 chip that you get with the AirPods Pro 2s. So you still get all the features like shaking your head to say no to Siri, stuff like that. You've got USB-C on the bottom, which is very good. You don't have MagSafe, but you still got wireless charging. And that's probably because the charging case is just so small. It is just absolutely tiny. Here's the original AirPods. We can see that it's a little bit smaller in footprint, but a little bit taller. We've got 5 hours of battery when you're not using noise cancelling, 4 hours with noise cancelling, so that's all right, not amazing. And of course, you still have the speaker for Find My. Overall, these don't necessarily excel in any one area, but these are just a fantastic all-rounder. And so that was all the AirPods I have collected. Maybe not all the AirPods ever made, I don't have the Maxes, but it's a tour of my AirPods collection. So if you enjoyed that video, please like and subscribe if you haven't done so yet. If you've got any questions about any of these AirPods, really, please just write them below and I'll force my brother to comment to answer them. And on that note, hope you're having a lovely day and toodaloo.